don't shoot the messenger, and I'm not saying it's going to happen, but a top source, that one again, has said that there remains a 1% chance, so don't get excited, 1% chance that West Ham could still sign Jhon Duran. So prepare yourself for disappointment. 99% likely to be disappointed. If you want him. If you don't want him, you're 99% likely to be pleased, right? There's a couple full version for you. As we mentioned yesterday, the Tammy Abraham rumours have been completely poo-pooed by the club. All right, that's not happening. I think the club have been really, really specific on this over recent days. Too injury prone, and his record over the last couple of years has been rubbish. It's been rubbish because he's been injury prone. I actually don't think he's a bad player at all. But make no mistake about it, this fella is being pimped out left, right and centre by his agents, by AS Roma. They want rid. But I was going to say if the worst happens, we discussed Michail Antonio yesterday. If the worst happens and we lose Michail Antonio and we lose Danny Ings, then we will need to bring another striker in. And it could well be that Jhon Duran is that very guy. Now, what I can't actually see happening is, and this is where I think the 1% comes in, I can't see that the tuppence we'd get for Danny Ings and whatever we'd get for, let's just say a vintage Michail Antonio, would quite marry up to the £40 million that Aston Villa want for Duran. So certain things got to fall into place for this, and here's what I think would have to fall into place. I think we would probably have to sell Edson Álvarez. So that's my call on this one. If it happens, at 99%, it won't. If we sell Edson Álvarez, we get Duran. That's my take on this. I don't know. I mean, I'm only reading into the bits that I've been told, which is not a lot, and I'm extrapolating quite a lot from that, reading quite a lot into it. But that's what I think the 1% might be. Now, as I mentioned yesterday, I'm not going to repeat myself. I think the club are going to try and fend off any interest in Álvarez. Álvarez can kick off, but he ain't got much time to kick off. I didn't mention that yesterday. He's thrown a strop before at Ajax when he didn't get his Chelsea move. And I don't want to accuse him of anything. He's done nothing wrong at all. If anything, Edson Álvarez a couple of days ago was talking about the future, qualifying for Europe, what he would do this season, playing alongside Guido Rodriguez, all lovely stuff. No problem, right? So I don't want to put words into his mouth, but the one time he did agitate for a move, he did do it, he agitated for a move to Chelsea. I'm not sure he's got much time. If he was going to do that, I suspect he won't. So that's that. But anyway, what the club also said, the top source also said at the time, was that we're struggling to get rid of players, even at 50% wages. Now, it was hard to. You're trying to read into what's been written, basically. But I think the suggestion is that we've been trying to say to players, look, if you leave, we'll cover half your wages. Saying it to the players, saying it to the clubs. So basically, even if a player leaves, so they might be saying, I don't want to leave West Ham, I'm on good wages. Well, okay. If you leave, we'll pay half of it as long as the other club pay half of it. But we're still struggling, even with that. Now, we mentioned yesterday that there was going to be a raid, a hijack of the club. That's what Fabrizio Romano had said. And that may well be the case. So it's going to be really, really interesting. But how interesting it will be today, I don't know, because it's match day. And match day is important, right? And do you know what it's going to be? It's going to be really quiet. So, when is it? Start of September is the international break. So I think the international break runs until like the 9th of September, but something like that. The reality is we don't play until the 14th. So we got a couple of weeks twiddling our thumbs, doing nothing. We're going to find it really boring because not only have we got football at the moment, we got a new coach, we got football, we got loads of transfers. We've had all the interest of all the transfers coming into West Ham, and now we've got all these stories about players leaving. Honestly, we're going to be so bored. Almy and Joe are going to keep you half entertained. I don't bloody know. Well, we've done it before. We'll manage it. Don't worry about that. But enjoy the football while it's here, because I hate that first international break. Just as you're getting sort of juiced up for the season, you know. Anyway, today, looking forward to this. So I'm not going to be overly distracted by this transfer stuff. as it gets towards this evening. I am looking forward to seeing Somerville. I really am. I know I said it last time. And I've got no problem that we didn't see him against Crystal Palace. Whatever Julian Lopetegui did in that game in terms of substitutions, it worked out right. It was brilliant. No problem at all. And you know what? I think at this early stage, possibly, Somerville wouldn't have minded. I say wouldn't have minded. Even if you just played at the park, if you've played Power League or you played anything like that and you were a substitute, you do get a bit grumpy. I speak for myself. I know you're meant to be a team player and all the rest of it. You get a bit grumpy and you think, come on, get me on a pitch. Let me get on the pitch. And I'm sure professional football as well, they're going to be even more competitive than you and I, aren't they? Because that's why they are what they're like. That's why they've got to where they have done. Somerville, looking forward to seeing him. Really looking forward to seeing Fulkrug, because I didn't pay tons of attention to Borussia Dortmund, and I was only half interested in the European Championships up until the end. The further England went, the more interested I got. And I don't want to sit here and pretend I was at the start of the European Championships watching every team play football. I wasn't. I just wasn't. So I think my knowledge base of the Hulkrug is far less than most people's. So I'm looking forward to seeing him play and seeing what he can do. And I don't think he's going to have the complaint today that he's going to be operating in like a second string, because the players are so good. The squad is so good now. Are we weakening it by bringing in, players like Todibo and Somerville? No, not really. As I mentioned, I think Ward-Prowse, and unless some bid comes in, which means he has to sort of run over medical or something like that, I'll drive him myself. I don't mean that I don't like him. I said, well, I brought him here, didn't I, in the van? So, van's I have bad things in the van. I don't know if I told you. I've told you. I had a little incident on the M4. Basically, ripped all the tyre off the van. We were in a fast lane. Drove over something. It got wedged into the wheel arch. The van stripped all the tyre off. Stripped the back panel off. We started going like that. Crazy, going 70 mile an hour, of course, just 70 mile an hour in the fast lane. It was so loud. Started doing that. Anyway, the van is no more. The van is dead. So anyway, so I won't be going and driving any players anyway. I won't be driving to Southampton again. That's for sure. Not in that van anyway. So unless he has to go somewhere, James Ward-Prowse, then I expect him to play as a good player. It's still going to be a good team. I had this vision. That you talk about James Ward-Prowse, and I think if we signed for someone else and we had to play against him, I'd be crapping it if they got a free kick against us, because that would be sod's law. I'll say it now. I call it now. If we sell James Ward-Prowse, he scores his free kick against us. That one that beats or equals Beckham's record, that's done against West Ham. That would be really West Ham, wouldn't it? But anyway, my point is that will it be a second string? I guess, technically. But there's some good players. We've got really, really good players. So I think it'll be a really interesting game, and should be really, really good to play. Good to play against them. I'm not going myself. I'm going to try and head up for the Manchester City game, the more likely win, of course. And absolutely buzzing for it. So once it gets to about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm going to park all that transfer talk, get ready for the game. Myself and Gio will be here at an hour and 5 minutes before kick-off. Well, not here, we'll be over on the main Hammers Chat channel. Mark and Nick will take you through during the watch-along, and then Gio will probably do an instant review at 10 o'clock or something like that. I'm possibly not going to upload at that sort of time. I'll be going to bed, going to sleep. Of course I will. I'll do something in the morning. I'll do something the following morning, on the Thursday morning. Give my views on the game then. Anyway, enjoy your day. I might be back later on if we do something sensational. If we sign Duran or sell someone we shouldn't. Get on the naughty step for some reason. Not me, the club. I'll do a video later on. Anyway, enjoy your day. If I don't see you at lunchtime, then I will catch up with you hour and 5 minutes before the game.